quirks to procedural systems that is half the joy. You know, that there's a set of swings in Grand Theft Auto. If you drive a car up to it, it catapults you across the map. Something
I love that.
ridiculous. Yeah,
We love glitches. Not as bad as Skate 3 though. That's pretty.
yeah.
That's synonymous with glitches, I think.
But also, glitches are inherently unfair because that if you know it's something that is outside of the system that they've created. So how do you let that work in a game that is obviously MMO?
So dynamic and
yeah. So it's I don't know I don't know what the right balance is. I'm hoping that there's more. It swings more back towards the kind of glitchy side of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's my favorite word. It's a question of balance, isn't it? You've got to find something which works, and I think Frontier are kind of exploring that. It's a new thing for them, really. They've never really had to build a game like this with this constant kind of maintenance and coming up with new ideas and new concepts, new features and things on the fly. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it develops over time, how they learn to do it as much as we do. Coming up with these ideas for them. Yeah.
And what we do, the Lug system, the sort of very first time that there was a player groundswell to try and pull the levers in a more amplified and quicker way, in a concerted effort ways to disrupt the rules that they've created for us. It is an arms race, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They create a sandbox, and we look for ways to break it, or master it, dominate it.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what other things people come up with as well. I mean, most of the things we've done at the moment are all pretty similar, kind of take over a system, increase the factions and stuff like that. Particularly like we were saying earlier on, when we get down to landing on planets and further, more detailed things and stuff, getting out of your ship and things. What other things could we do which would be changing the gameplay? Could you actually get to the point of getting down to the Emperor and killing him? Would that be a possibility? Because I mean, that's could drastically change the background story of the game and things like that. Would an individual player, be given that kind of level of freedom to go and do something?
Rare missions, missions that really are only ever given to 1 in 1,000 players, and it could be you. That there's a lottery, a randomness that you don't see the same missions over and over. There is a scarcity, so it's hearsay. Like I heard of a guy that got a mission to do this, that, or the other, and it's sort of half folklore. And unless someone streamed it on YouTube, or recorded it on YouTube,
you wouldn't
don't necessarily trust it. So the RNG side of it would be a way to do that, where it really is random. One person does get a shot at taking out the Emperor, but they just didn't know it. He was in that ship, but they did or didn't do it or whatever. And
and the game story and everything has to adapt and change depending on their outcome. I think that's the cool things I'd like to see. I think we better check the chat really quickly on here. Nice little piece there from Endorsed. I'll read that out for you, sir. Sorry, I missed that on there. Today in Galnet News, a red ribbon cutting ceremony as the new Democratic Union of Kerrash opened its first outpost near Kerrash, as a new energy source known as Kerrashium has been discovered. Miners rejoice. I'm just not that inventive. Look, see, that's what I mean. That's why I don't do role-playing stuff.
It's a new element they discovered on your planet.
It's better than hand-wavium. It teases you a little bit,
Fiery Toad has linked to the AI friendly fire thread, which I guess is one of the devs, Sarah Jane Avery, talking about her fixing the accidental stray shot instant fire.
And I can imagine that's a very difficult thing to actually fix. How do you prevent AI from doing the thing that you've just told them to do in certain cases? Yeah, it's a nightmare, especially in three dimensions as well. Really difficult.
Well, I think what she said that they're doing is if you don't hit the ship that you're targeting, if you hit a ship that you aren't targeting, and you hit it, you're allowed to hit it for a few shots. There's an amount of damage that you're allowed to be under that it won't trigger it. But if you persistently hit it, then you're still screwed. And if you're targeting it and shoot it, then you're still screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing. It's trying to get that information about player intent, and seeing if that really what they wanted to do. Were they really trying to be mean? Because you have to calculate that. There is a could very well that you want that bounty, you are trying to get that bounty, so you've got to accommodate for all players in all types of gameplay. So yeah, I think that's a much more sensible thing to do rather than trying to make the AI unrealistically stupid and trying to avoid your shots all the time and taking themselves out of the equation. So yeah, that's a nice way of working around it, I think.
I thought they flew in front of you deliberately as well to test your reflexes.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. God damn it.
Oh dear, yeah. No, it is. Have I got him in? Yes, I've got him there. So I'm seeing question marks, and I'm trying to keep up with you guys in the chat there. FPS expansion when they incorporate missions, major upgrade. I don't follow you there, sorry. Mad Dog, no, don't make it too easy. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. A couple of times I've thought, was like, yeah, well, I really shouldn't have carried on firing there. I saw him coming in the corner of my eye, but yeah, I think it's again, it's that balance.
Trigger discipline is fine until you're firing a slow-moving projectile weapon, and it can't be true for one weapon and not for the others, and Also, I would forgive someone, if you and I are playing in a combat zone and we're or even if we don't know each other, a stray shot wouldn't necessarily mean my blood mist descends and I want to kill you.
What's that?
Yeah.
You dinged my shields. How about you, sir? Yeah, exactly. It's
like we're so highly strung, or something.
I've several times I've been in a kind of like co-op environment. I think I've done it to Fiery Toad as well. I've done it to my friends elsewhere as well. I kind of winged it. It's like, oh yeah, sorry about this. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. And they were red on each other's scanner then for that period of time. And it's like, yeah, we'll go pay off our mounties.
I'm sure you've done the same. But I've definitely turned off report crimes against me when I'm with friends in a combat zone.
Yeah, I usually do. Yeah, because what's going on here? There's a bit of combat going on here, but yeah, you don't want that kind of thing to happen really when you're doing it as a player. So you've got to kind of build it for everyone. Again, like I said, you've got to consider all player styles rather than just stop it because I hate it for one particular situation.
Yeah, and avoidance. Avoidance is only half the issue, and trigger discipline is only half the issue. It's this intolerance. It's this intolerant attitude.
Yeah, it's like instant scratch. Oh, that's it. I hate you. For those who are interested, actually, I'm going to show it on here. It's this option down here. Report crimes against me. Now I've left it on at the moment because particularly when you're doing the assassination bounty hunting missions going after the Anaconda, if the Anaconda fires back at you after a period of time, the local authorities will come in and help you, which is an important thing, so I leave that on there. But yeah, it's a thing. So hang on, there was a question just there. Yeah, Deborsh, do I think fines could be prevented by allowing a fine crime reporting as a separate option for people in your party? What you're touching on there is effectively what I think wings are going to become. When you look at the sort of things they've talked about, that's effectively what's going to be. Is like you can pally up with a group of commanders in your wing and say that, hey, if we do have a bit of friendly fire between this group, it's okay. We're in the same wing. Let it slide. So that's effectively, I think, what's going to give you that option there. Huggy the Bear. Let's have a look at Huggy the Bear. No record. Some of these names are awesome. I love them. No shields.
I'm just pimping my forum tracker there a bit as well, the dev tracker. Although apparently there's going to be an official one before too long.
Awesome.
I have heard, which is good.
And I think this is one of the great things, really, isn't it? Is if going back to the topic of the API stuff, if there's something that we want that they can't give us because of the security implications or some other reason, some gameplay problem that could arise from it, if we turn around and we say, look, hey, we want to do something like this, and we can't, or we put some limited version of it out there or something, then it's something that they could go away and consider and actually, add it into the game at some point or make another app for it or something. So I think that's the important thing to take into account there. If there's an idea for something you want to do, then just put it forward on that thread, and maybe the guys at Frontier can go away and build an app for that, or extend the companion app to have the information in that we want to see.
Yeah, I don't know whether the companion app was built by an internal team or not, but it's definitely an interesting one, and it's all HTML5 based, and one of these sort of cross-platform frameworks. I must say I don't like it. I don't think it's the most good-looking app, and I don't think it particularly has found its killer feature that everyone wants to reach for it and use it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? It's not necessarily having the idea for it. Maybe having the time constraints in there, I think, is the problem. I think there's a lot of things on the table that they would love to do with that app, but it's just having that time and that feedback from people. It's like, is this useful? Is that useful? Do you want to see more of this or more of that? So yeah, it's a tricky one. I want a reload button. I know that much.
Yes, that would be lovely. I know what you mean.
Divorce there. So we're all going to Frontier on Monday and protesting. We want the release of Wings. We can pick it outside. Get the tents up.
It's going to come.
It's going to come. Yeah, it's
patience.
Yeah, it's been announced soon. TM. That is going to come in 1.2, and I agree with what they're doing. They want it to be right, so they're going to introduce it. 1.1 with some additional features in, and then 1.2 with Wings in there. So that's going to be good. Gaming with Iain, have I got the... Oh, sorry, you're chatting to someone else, Fire Group, I thought it was me. To Corkin, why are there so many trolls on the forum? There aren't that many, they're just very vocal. That's the problem with trolls.
Yeah, there was... Wasn't it... I can't remember, but one of the mods showed me the refund thread that went on for pages and pages. Really, it was about 10 people producing 50% of the posts or something, or 80% of the posts. It was mad.
Yeah, it's closer to 80. But
crazy.
There are some people out there that I feel genuinely bad for, with the whole refund thing. Yes, there's some people, and those people I know a few personally that have, they've requested refund. They can't play the game without offline. They've requested it. They've got it. They've respectively walked away, and I hope that I could be in a situation like that, have their kind of level of composure and respect, because they've done that. They haven't got all their money back, but they've got a amount of money back, and fair play to them. They're like, okay, yep, I'll accept that, thank you, walked away, which is great. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that like to shout and scream.
Yeah. There's always limit theory.
Yeah,
that's looking really good.
Exactly. There's loads of other games out there. You don't have to love a game because you've been forced. There's no forcing. Nothing's gone. It's like, find the game you love and play it.
Yeah, it's just splitting up. It's like Frontier splitting up with you, though. It's like you haven't done anything wrong. They it's not you, it's them.
yeah, and it's a bit of it feels to me it's like a tit for tat type thing, isn't it? So you look at it, it's like, oh, the promise was there, we should have had it, and it's like, well, yeah, but look up the definition of the word pledge. And that's what we've all done. We've pledged money to the game, and a pledge is a promise. We promise to give money in the hope that we get something else. So really, it's two sides of the same coin. So, it's do you fight fire with fire? Do you turn around and say, hey, you didn't give me what you wanted, I want a refund? You're breaking your promise to give money to the game then. So you know better in yourself then. You're not walking away, in the higher moral ground, so to speak, which is why, like I said, I respect my friend for turning around and saying, hey, you know what, this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting question from Jay Quartzen in the chat. Do you agree that the Mac version will incorporate the new 1.1 and 1.2 updates? And I would say, yeah, because it needs to keep pace with the PC client. You can't have any disparity.
Yeah, and I think Michael's already touched on the idea that the Mac is just going to be a platform change rather than content. So whatever content is currently available in the PC build, I imagine will get put straight into the Mac build. There's no reason to branch them to that extent, I don't think. So yeah.
Well, also they can't really be divergent, because you can't have any disadvantage or advantage with one platform or another. Like, they've got to be pretty much, the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm getting well and truly...
Yeah, you're running out.
Yeah, I'm running out of everything at the moment. I've got an elite sidewinder here. I want to try and take this dude. Ah, no, they've taken my shields. The gits. No!
There are a lot of flashing triangles, dude.
There's lots and lots of... this is runaway time, I think. Know when you're gonna lose is the key thing.
Discretion is the better part of valor.
I saw one elite sidewinder and thought, I want to take him, but he's actually got a gang of 4 other people there. So that's not a good idea on my own. That's definitely where you need a bit of co-op. I've never seen that group of NPCs spawn like that, though. Again, it's going back to some of the stuff we said earlier on, this kind of interesting idea that the server can be updated with new and interesting content, and it gets seamlessly streamed down to us, which I think is really, really interesting thing, which a lot of people don't realize that that's one of the possibilities. Again, that's one of the reasons why having the server is an important side of it, having it online all the time, because it's not just missions and things. It's when you come into an area that the types of NPCs you're going to see spawn into the world are dictated by the server. You know, you're going to go up to the server and say, hey, what type of people should I see here? Should there be pirates? Should there be groups of people and things like that? And then the server will dictate to your client and let you know. So there's some really interesting things that can happen just by server updates that we don't even know about.
Yeah, the behaviour of them though is run locally, isn't it? So that's
yeah,
the kind of stuff that has to come down in an update.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sorry, I just saw a question on it. No, that it's not thermal load, no ammo. What's the bips? No, sorry. Yeah, so the sorry, I lost my train of thought with that. Then, yeah, the types of NPCs, their skill level, their rating, their name, all those kind of things are looked up in the database, remotely. They're sent down to you, and then your client does all of the local calculation for the AI and things like that. So it's quite an interesting balance the way that it works.
It's a fantastic architecture. I was talking with some very smart architecture and server programmer friends of mine who do a lot of stuff in Erlang.
Oh yeah.
And they were, and I told them about the game architecture and the distributed nature and trust and everything, and they were like, I want to know more about this. This sounds phenomenal as a compute platform and a way that you arrange a set of clients to interact with each other. And I really do think it is groundbreaking stuff. And I know it took them a long while to nail, but my goodness, it's working well. Not brilliantly, not 100%. You know, we can't see each other's combat ranks still and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean.
Chat still doesn't work for me.
Hey, yeah, I've had some. How you doing, sir?
My voice is a little tired.
Yeah, I have had some weird issues with the chat. I found that it's like, if you send a message to one person, they send a message back. Suddenly, it's almost like punching a hole in a firewall. It becomes an instant win. It just works.
Yeah, we've had that. I've messaged Iain. He couldn't see the message. He's messaged me and it did, or something brought it to life, and then it will equally just die.
It was like you had to both fail once, and then
and then it would suddenly work. Yeah.
And it could even be that sending that message forces it to return to the turns server or whatever it is.
Yes. And then suddenly
I had confirmation today that my ticket on that had been added to Jira.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Very good. That's good. I've heard very little on my tickets. My outstanding tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going through them at a rate of 2,000 a day or something like that now. It's some ridiculously high number. I think they're going through everything that's on there. But
I'm glad they clear the backlog. They do seem to be spinning back up into fully operational space station status.
Oh, when did you lose your air?
Oh, well, I've kitted this Eagle out with way too much for the power plant to handle. So I've done the trick with the modules. I don't know if you've seen that. Is that something you've seen before, or have you heard of it?
Yeah, you're optimizing your power usage.
Yeah. So I've kind of. Oh, come on, thermal.
So you're fighting. It's like having your heating turned off in the winter. Sort of.
Yeah, just to save that little bit extra. But I'll go over to the modules once I've taken this guy out. It is kind of a pain because it means the oxygen gets turned off every time I put my weapons. There we go. So so I've got all the unnecessary things like air. That's secondary. Lasers are the primary thing. That's what I need. I need my lasers. Quick. Autologist. Thought you'd like this. You made it out to Sagittarius A star the other day. Awesome. I've seen some really great videos and pictures of that. I think there's one in the newsletter listing. Yeah, and I love the effects. I've got to get out to a black hole. There is one very close to populated space I want to get out to. It's only about 100 light years away from Sol, I think. So that's reachable. I can get there. See if there's any more questions on there. Phoenix Fire. In beta, you could text any of your friends that were not in your instance. Has that been dropped? Something is definitely changed in the communication. I don't know if they've done something to make it more robust, but at the same time, it means that it's not getting those kind of connections that weren't working very well. At the, it's kind of, again, it's that balancing act where they've made it more stable, but then at the same time it's kind of reduced its functionality. So it's definitely changed between versions.
I'm just going through each of my friends and trying to send them a test message, and I can't send anything to anyone. This is rubbish. I can't send anything to you, Kerrash. So yeah.
Oh, let's say here. I'll do the thing on here. So you've just tried to send me a message. I'll send you a message back, and then it will suddenly work. And I've seen that in a lot of cases. But it's kind of it defeats the purpose of a comm system. I think that's the only problem, because there you go. So there you go. So now it works. So now I can send messages back and forth to you. It does very much feel like that kind of punch in a hole in a firewall, kind of the thing that Skype does when it sets up comms between people. It needs.
So what it should do is send an invisible message to everyone on your friends list when you join the server.
just to poke a hole through. Yeah. I think that's the. There's probably some fix in there that can be done with that, and I think that's some of the things that they've suggested with the patch for 1.1 is there's some comms stuff which is being considered to improve the comms, not just fix problems with it, but also make it more intuitive interface and things like that on there.
I think Frontier's, suggesting that we must be telepathically in tune with the person that you want to communicate with.
I think you are online. I think you are sending a message. I will try and send you a message. Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Awesome stuff. Well, I've just looked in at the clock. Unfortunately, it is coming up to that time. And I will say, on the good news, guess what? I've not crashed. The machine has not crashed. We have had a complete stream tonight with no crashes.
You
Miracles.
did brave to Robin it, but that's fine.
I did run away. No, I mean physically, my PC did not crash. So
right.
A lot of people have been watching. I've been having some issues with the machine, and I found that Windows Defender was causing me problems. Yeah, Windows Defender, I think I've set up an exclusion for Windows Defender on Elite Dangerous, and it has made the world a difference. It really the game doesn't crash. I'm still having the odd crash. I don't think it's the game, so I think there's something still wrong with my computer, but it's definitely helped a lot. So that's something to watch out for. If you're getting random crashes in the game, see if you've got Windows Defender on, because stupidly I've already got other malware protection, and I'd left it on because I'd just done a reinstall recently. Should have turned it off, but there we go.
What happened about the Skype call earlier where it dropped? Was that just a networking?
No, that was the ridiculously stupid Windows 8 interface that if you minimize a window, it decides to go, oh, you don't want it anymore. Okay. Yep.
Minimize or quit.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That was a pet. It
good.
Happens.
Well, this has been really good, and I'm glad we've got something concrete out of it. We've got a domain.
Yay.
I've got something to go back to that thread with. It's really interesting to see everyone's thoughts on what they would like as well. The commander's log being such a good idea that isn't served right now by existing tools.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I'm up for helping out with anything on that as well. If there's any kind of anything I can do to help make that app happen, I want to be there, so I want to help with that.
Bit of front end, bit of back end. There's all kinds of stuff. We can devolve that nicely into some chunks of stuff.
Cool stuff. Excellent. So, success.
Yeah.
I haven't died, PC hasn't crashed, and we've got a plan, which is awesome.
Yes. Got a domain, got an app idea. Let's build a community. Let's make it a community website.
Make it happen.
Born out of Kerrash Landing.
Awesome stuff. So thank you very much for joining in tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you both, and hopefully we can get you on again soon. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been really helpful and lovely to see a bit of, chat with the community about app ideas as well.
As always, absolutely. And for everyone out watching tonight, thank you very much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to chat to you as always, and hopefully we'll see you again next week and we'll have some more exciting news for you. But until then, we'll see you in the void, Commanders.